Attention. There is someone very close to you who does not want your victory, and you may not have realized it yet. The spiritual realm has already identified this movement and is alerting you now. It's no coincidence that you're watching this video. What is about to be revealed could free you from a spiritual delay that has been preventing the fulfillment of the promises over your life. If you are one of the chosen, you need to know this before it's too late. Comment now, "I am chosen," to seal this word in the spiritual realm. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to wake up to this urgent reality. A few years ago, I met a man named Elias. He was devoted to God, faithful in prayer, a true servant. Everything he did was with a pure heart. But despite all his spiritual effort, his life felt stuck. Doors wouldn't open, relationships wouldn't prosper. Opportunities came and slipped through his fingers. During a deep moment of prayer, he asked the heavens a direct question. "Lord, why does it feel like everything is blocked?" And in the silence of the early morning, the answer came to his spirit. Because there is someone too close to you who wants everything to stay that way. Elias was shaken, but he chose to observe. In the following days, he began to notice the details. A person who always seemed concerned about him, but reacted coldly to each of his victories. A familiar voice, always present, but sowing doubt in every step of faith he tried to take. And that's when he realized, the enemy doesn't always attack from afar. Sometimes he sits right next to you. Many chosen ones go through repeated cycles of delay without understanding why. They pray, fast, believe, but remain stuck. And what they don't realize is that not all spiritual bondage is visible. Some come disguised as friendship, family, advice, or even prayer. There are people who come close not to help, but to spy. They don't want your victory, but your continued stagnation. And the most serious part, many of these people are inside your circle of trust. The spirit of spiritual sabotage acts subtly. It manifests in passive comments, joyless glances, and conveniently timed absences. And you feel something isn't right, but you can't name it. This script will show you the signs, and more importantly, it will teach you how to shield your spiritual life from these invisible chains. Get ready. What comes next may free you from years of stagnation. Because when God reveals something, it means He's ready to act. Have you ever noticed that some people only show up when you're down, but they disappear the moment you start to rise? Have you ever felt a heaviness after telling someone your plan, and suddenly everything falls apart? There is a spiritual dynamic called a blocking word. When you share something with someone who can't handle your victory, a spiritual block is activated, not because that person has power over you, but because your connection to them creates a field of influence. And if that connection is contaminated, your promise suffers interference. Later in this video, I will reveal 3 types of people who may be spiritually delaying your breakthrough, and what to do to neutralize this effect without conflict. After that revelation, Elias made a difficult decision. He distanced himself from those who had always been near, but never contributed. He began to pray in silence. He stopped sharing every detail with everyone. And in a short time, things began to shift. Projects that had been stuck gained momentum. Closed doors began to open. What had been locked was released. You could be one decision away from the same breakthrough. When you identify the invisible root feeding your stagnation, your mind is freed. You sleep better, You pray with more clarity. You stop doubting yourself and start trusting the discernment the Spirit gives you. You understand you aren't being paranoid, you're being guided, and the weight you've been carrying was never yours. It was the result of spiritual connections that God never authorized. And from the moment you align, everything begins to change. You reconnect with your essence, your faith grows, your energy rises, your spirit breathes again. Understand this. The closer your victory gets, the more active silent opposition becomes. The enemy doesn't always come shouting. Sometimes he comes with empty compliments, fake smiles, and advice disguised as concern. But the Spirit of God gives discernment to those who ask. And if you're feeling discomfort around certain people, it's not judgment, it's protection. The spiritual environment around the chosen is sensitive. People carry atmospheres, and some of those atmospheres don't align with what God is building in you. So he starts cutting. And if you don't understand the process, you suffer. But if you discern, you accelerate. Many of your answers are being delayed by wrong connections, and you will only live the new when you stop giving access to what no longer belongs in your current season. Soon I will show you how to clearly identify the 3 main signs that someone close to you is draining your spiritual energy. But first, understand this. When you decide to protect yourself spiritually, you are not being cold. You are being faithful. Faithful to your journey. Faithful to your purpose. Faithful to the promise God placed on you. Comment now, I am waking up. This seals in the spiritual realm that you recognize the need for protection and positioning. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who needs this urgent warning. The one who secretly roots for your downfall. This type of person never says what they feel, but quietly celebrates each of your failures. They say, I told you so when things go wrong, but never celebrate your wins. The one who competes spiritually with you pretends to be a partner, but constantly compares achievements. Always wants to know where you are to measure their own progress. This spirit of competition contaminates environments and blocks the flow of blessing. The one who encourages you to give up disguise as a realist always suggests you accept things as they are, never believes in breakthrough, can't understand faith, and belittles your vision. But God didn't call you to stagnate, He called you to break through. These profiles act as spiritual drains, and the closer they are to you, the more weakened you will feel. But the good news is, you can break this cycle now. When Elias distanced himself from the negative influence, everything around him began to change. But more importantly, everything within him transformed. He slept peacefully again. His faith was renewed. His joy returned. And heaven began to move powerfully in his favor. You can experience that too. When you cut what contaminates, you make room for what builds. When you silence opposing voices, you better hear God's voice. And when you protect what God gave you, you bear fruit. You don't waste energy trying to convince anyone. You simply grow. You bloom. You fulfill what you were called to be. Pay attention. What's coming is too big to be carried with fragile alliances. God is about to entrust you with something that requires structure, focus, discernment, and holiness. And you can't run this race with people secretly hoping you fall. In the next few days, start observing, ask for discernment, and when something inside you says walk away, obey. It's not about cutting people off, it's about preserving your anointing. In the next video, we'll talk about how to spiritually shield your dreams before they get stolen. The enemy has no access to heaven, but he tries to access your heart, and you need to learn how to guard what is sacred. Comment now. I will protect my promise. And remember, the stronger your light, the more darkness will try to come close. But whoever is surrounded by God cannot be defeated by human voices. You are light, you are chosen, and your victory will be a testimony to many.